Every day, something dramatic happens in the Caribbean that affects our lives. We'll give you the details. We'll give you the facts on Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick. Here's Eddie Frederick.
So glad you can join us. LIAT Administrator is seeking help from regional governments to pay severance to workers. This story takes the lead in our 1041st edition of Caribbean Perspective for Tuesday, 2nd February 2021. Details after this break.
Did you know that your friends and family can now shop at the Food Fair from anywhere in the world? And you can receive here in Grenada? The Food Fair and GrenadaMarket.com now make it possible through secure online shopping and personalized customer service. Simply send your loved ones a list of your preferred items or let them fill an online basket and the items will be available for pickup or delivery. Visit GrenadaMarket.com or thefoodfair.gd today for more details. The new norm. Spread the news.
Welcome back. Regional heads of government have been asked to help to cover the cost of severance entitlements of over $70 million to former employees of regional carrier LIAT. In a letter dated January 22nd, the court-appointed administrator Cleveland Seaforth said that as of April 2020, the total unpaid entitlements to workers across the region amounted to $119,006,962. Of this amount, $79,011,337 is in respect of the employees' legal severance entitlements. Based on preliminary estimates, it is highly unlikely that any significant portion of this worker's severance entitlement will likely result from the estate of LIAT 1974 Limited upon its eventual liquidation, Seaforth wrote. The administrator also pointed out that the employees were of the firm view that by virtue of the company being preliminarily owned by the governments of the region, it was most likely that hardship would come to them because there was an expectation that the company would never be abandoned by the respective governments. He stated further that, based on the discussions with various unions in each of the territories, it is clearly evident that both the current and former workers are experiencing severe financial hardship and a high level of disappointment in what is perceived as a lack of support from the respective governments. Seaforth also pointed out that the government of Antigua and Barbuda believes it has a moral obligation to the former workers, but the onus is far too great for a single government. He said the Antiguan government is prepared to offer the employees up to a maximum of 50% of their severance through a combination of cash, land, or government bonds. He suggested that such an approach could be considered by other governments across the region and indicated his willingness to hold dialogue on the matter. Meanwhile, the Gaston Brown administration says it will be going the route of legislation to protect the equity of workers in the hotel sector. This follows recent developments in which the government said at least one hotel group has been seeking to engage an intermediary company as an employment agency. The government fears this would place the workers at a disadvantage in circumstances where they would need to be paid severance and other amounts due. Information Minister Melford Nicholas provided an update during Thursday's post-cabinet briefing.
There had been some rejoinder through the Office of the Prime Minister, and the senior official in that institution has indicated that in as much as the government had responded the way it had, that they do intend to have a fund that would provide for that level of security for those workers even in that regime. But the government is not going to leave it up to the goodwill of that particular hotel group. We certainly intend to go the legislative route.
St. Lucia's Cabinet of Ministers is reportedly considering tougher restrictions to stem the staggering increase in COVID-19 cases. Solage Alfred of HTS News Force reports.
The administrative assistant of the Bankers of St. Lucia Association has denied knowledge of a letter purportedly from the association, which has gone viral on social media platforms. The questionable missive makes a number of recommendations to the Chamber of Commerce in light of the rising cases of COVID-19. The intended recipient of the disputed letter, the Chamber of Commerce, has also denied official receipt of any such letter.
We have members from the banking community, and they participate in our discussions and dialogue on a regular basis, but no letter has come to us.
One missive which has proven valid is a statement from the St. Lucia Medical and Dental Association, which advises tighter restrictions to reduce escalating COVID-19 infections. The medical community is calling for, among other measures, quote, a judicious shutdown of all but essential services for a period of 2 weeks in the first instance, unquote. These are exceedingly tough times for the local business community, and further restrictions, including a lockdown, could deliver a devastating blow to a hobbled commercial sector. Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce, Brian Louisi, on Friday, responded to talk of an island-wide shutdown.
The membership is, as discussed, the issue of how do we handle the current situation. Everyone is concerned about the state, the number of persons who are being treated with coronavirus. Our approach is to dialogue with the officials, the experts, to give us information. And as we've said to the government, we will support those measures that will bring this virus under control.
Louisi says the chamber will be guided by science, evidence, and the expertise of medical professionals. He remains hopeful that the island's leadership, through continued dialogue, will formulate a well-considered plan of action.
We would expect the measures to be deliberate, to be thoughtful, and to take account of what is really important to our country, and also how we protect our economy and the livelihoods and the lives in the country. So we will support those measures that will do that, but we continue to dialogue with our members and with the authorities.
However, navigating the perils of COVID-19 have proven extremely challenging for both businesses and individuals. Louisi is under no illusion of the difficult road ahead for the business community.
Members are under tremendous pressure. Sales performance is not good, revenue is not good. They have a challenge maintaining the staff complement, and we're trying to pay attention to that, to help the staff and support the staff. And the environment is a difficult one, but as the chamber members have always risen to the occasion to be leaders in the society and the community, and we have every confidence that as difficult as it is, that we will rise.
The Chamber of Commerce on Friday participated in a meeting of the highest Emergency Advisory Council on Island, NEMAC, to address the spiraling numbers. Officials were reportedly contemplating imposing more stringent measures to address the increase in COVID-19 numbers. Solange Alfred, HTS News Force.
You're listening to Caribbean Perspective with Eddie Frederick.
The debate over whether Guyana should remove custodial sentences for a specified amount of cannabis found in one's possession got heated at the 16th sitting of the National Assembly when MPs from the government's faction regarded the opposition proposed bill as a lazy attempt. HGP's Tamika Rodney reports.
APNU-FC Parliamentarian Chair Duncan, in filing a motion for the proposed Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Control Amendment Bill 2020 on Thursday during the 16th sitting of the National Assembly held at the Arthur Chung Conference Center, drew reference to an extensive study conducted by CARICOM, which provides contrasting insights about the drug when compared to the narrow-minded opposing views similar to those held by the government members of Parliament.
And it would seem that in the initial stages, while this substance, marijuana, weed, was deemed illegal, CARICOM's research has shown that it was due to the advent of what we might now call international corporations seeking to introduce other substances in our society, in our region, and in our country.
Duncan posited that the said CARICOM Regional Commission on Marijuana report also outlines that incarceration has negative impacts on young people who were found with it.
Mr. Speaker, if we have followed the thousands of Guyanese incarcerated for the possession of small amounts of a piece of plant, their lives altered irrevocably, then this bill amending sections of the Narcotic Drugs and Psychotropic Substances Control Act of 88 is a prayer answered for so many citizens, and it is justice done for many, many others.
The opposition's proposed bill seeks to abolish jail time for persons found with up to 500 grams of marijuana. Minister of Education Priya Manik-Chan wasted no time in chiding the opposition for its slothful attempt in drafting and presenting the proposed marijuana bill. She argued that the bill is similar to the one which was drafted by attorneys Nigel Hughes and Mark Waldron in 2015, except the most recent bill increases the decriminalization cap from 15 grams to 500 grams.
Lazy attempt at a draft. Lazy. No effort to attempt even to examine and interrogate the issue that we are trying to resolve for our fellow Guyanese.
She further accused the mover of the motion, Sherrod Duncan, and by extension the opposition, of failing to conduct the adequate groundwork necessary to formulate a draft.
What we need to do is to speak to the affected community, the men and women, young and old, healthy and unhealthy, who use this product, and have them tell us what would be a law that would meet their needs.
Shadow Minister of Culture, Youth and Sports, Jermaine Figueroa, maintained that the opposition held consultations before the bill was initiated. He counter-argued that the bill is an opportunity to save the nation's youth population from being sent to jail for small amounts of marijuana. Figueroa alluded to several other Caribbean territories that have taken similar steps, while noting that Guyana's time is now. Minister of Culture, Youth and Sports, Charles Ramson, cautioned members of the opposition camp to think about the impacts this major policy change is likely to have in society and among their very own children. The government in a separate bill is proposing that persons found with 15 to 30 grams of marijuana be sentenced differently by way of counseling and community service instead of incarceration. Tamika Rodney reporting for the HGP Nightly News.
Health officials in Haiti are monitoring the emergence of a very infectious skin disease similar to scabies. According to the Ministry of Health, this skin disease has affected residents of several communities in the west of the country for several days. Earlier last week, the Ministry of Health deployed mobile clinics to areas such as La Gonave, Petit Goave, and Akari. The government has sought to assure the population that all stops will be pulled out in an effort to eradicate the disease. Scabies has been described as an itchy skin condition caused by a tiny burrowing mite. Intense itching occurs in the area where the mite burrows. Scabies is contagious and can spread quickly through close physical contact.
Did you know that your friends and family can now shop at the Food Fair from anywhere in the world, and you can receive here in Grenada? The Food Fair and GrenadaMarket.com now make it possible through secure online shopping and personalized customer service. Simply send your loved ones a list of your preferred items or let them fill an online basket, and the items will be available for pickup or delivery. Visit GrenadaMarket.com or thefoodfair.gd today for more details. The new norm. Spread the news.
I am Eddie Frederick. This has been Caribbean Perspective, a whole new approach to highlighting developments in the Caribbean. In the meantime, please continue to log on to CaribbeanPerspective.com for more daily news and more.